Alright guys, what is happening? Simo here from Ironclad Motorsport. And before I get stuck in today's video, I just want to let you know that in the next 2 to 3 months, got some really cool cars coming here onto the channel. Alright, so we've got a old school RX-7 running around about 550 horsepower at the wheels on E85 as well. We've got a K24 turbocharged E85 powered Honda CRX, got a turbocharged Toyota 86/BRZ. Also got a couple of massively high-powered Supras ranging from around about 600 to 700 wheel horsepower, all of them on the Korn E85. So if that is something that you're probably interested in watching, make sure you hit subscribe and make sure you bang on the bell to get the notification of when those videos are actually uploaded to the channel. But I promise you, all those cars and more will be coming to the channel in around about the next 2 to 3 months. In fact, I'm actually off to go and shoot the RX-7 next weekend. So with that being said, let's get stuck into today's video. Now, what I wanted to do today was actually make a cold air box for the Series 2 Escort RS Turbo. And I've done a little bit of work and I'm going to show you just now how far I've actually got so far. So this is how far I've got so far, guys. This is obviously not going to be there, all right? This is just like kind of a shield that I'm making up, and I will explain this in a second. I'm actually going to be using this here to make the shield. Now, the factory airbox normally sits here, but here in Australia, you know, it does get stinking hot. You've got like the radiator pipe here, the engine here, the turbo down there, and I went out for a mountain run the other day and I put my hand on the airbox, and the airbox was absolutely red hot from all the heat that kind of generates inside the engine bay. So I wanted to go with a pod filter, 1, so I get more turbo noises, 2, to help the car breathe a little bit more, but 3, so I can move it away from everything as well. Now, I know what happens in the UK is you guys kind of, that's just sort of sat there at the moment. Got one over here. So it doesn't fit though, it's a bit small. It's off a Celica turbo. You guys normally kind of just sit the pod filter there and that's it. But here in Australia, that's actually illegal, believe it or not. You cannot do that because, you know, like there's no way to shield it from the fuel system and all that kind of stuff as well. And as well, the air filter needs to be secured not only to the engine, but also, you know, like to the inside of the engine bay as well. Now guys, the reason that the air filter needs to be shielded, and I said that it's actually illegal here in Australia to just dump it straight on the MFI unit, is because it goes all the way back to like the, you know, like the 80s, when it was really fashionable to have a massively high-powered V8 with the carburetor on top, you know, and the big circular kind of K&N filter, and they just kind of sit that on top and it'd be open. But what happened is people were tuning their own cars. They weren't really experienced. They didn't know what they were doing. And they were getting fuel coming back out of the carburetor, and that was creating, you know, like a fire hazard. Sometimes it would catch fire inside the engine bay on the actual air filter because they're just paper elements, and then obviously that would create an engine fire. So here in Australia, that's an old law in regards to our Australian design regulations, that if you have a pod filter or like an induction kind of filter thing, it needs to be actually secured and shielded inside the engine bay. So you can see if I put it there, I need to go but right, yeah, if I put the pod filter there, then I need to kind of build some kind of shield to go around it, and there's just not a lot of space. So I got this 90-degree silicone hose, and I've kind of had to chop it up a little bit just to make it, you know, so it fits, because I want to sit it and it's going to angle down ever so slightly, hence why that is, you know, trimmed off. And here's all like the trimmings I did bit by bit to make sure it kind of fitted. And then I've got a hard plastic, like PVC tube, that I just bought from the plumbing section in the hardware store. That is in there, and that's just helping hold all that together, because obviously there is
rubber here and rubber here, and that, you know, wouldn't clamp together. But yeah, that works. It's pretty cool. So what I'm going to be doing now is using this as a template to make up a heat shield that goes in here. And I'm going to try and run it along the side of the intercooler, and then just kind of this way, and then like a C-clamp sort of over the silicon joiner and around just against this side of the fuel filter as well. So if I do get stopped, you know, it's kind of enclosed. We're all good. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just seat you back on top of the track car, the Fiesta there, and I'm going to put the video on time-lapse. Sit back, enjoy the music, and watch me get to work. Remember, I'm not an engineer. I'm just a gym junkie, so I've absolutely no idea about making all this kind of stuff. Just kind of learning as I'm going. But yeah, like I said, enjoy the music, sit back, relax, and have fun. Here's the track car as well, guys, before I put you on the time lapse. Fairly stock inside. Just got the bucket seat and the racing harness with my 6-point harness. It's pretty cool. These Fiestas are actually really, really quick. It's a little ST180 car. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, so I think I've kind of done what I wanted to do. So that shut line on the bonnet is going to be pretty good. It's pretty sweet there. Not bad. And then it's just shielded from the bottom of the fuel filter. And then comes around and down. Zoom out a bit for you, because I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but down, I do need, yeah, I know guys, I know. Down there is actually some little bits on the side of the intercooler at the front. There's some tiny little pieces, some tiny little holes down there. You can just see my finger poking out, where I'll be able to just kind of wrap a cable tie through there without, and then like punching a hole through here, obviously not this one, without cutting off any airflow to the intercooler. So guys, I only have one piece of this. Let's cut, and hopefully everything lines up and works. Alright guys, so there we have it. My little heat shield for my pod filter, wrapped neatly just to shield it. Hopefully that is good enough if the police pull me over. So yeah. Only one thing left to do now. Only one thing left to do now, guys. That is secure it into place and then go for a drive and see if we get some more turbo noises. So I'm going to do that. Cut to the next scene with me in the car, out for a spin, seeing if we get any more turbo noises on the Series 2 Escort RS Turbo. All right, guys, let's go for a little spin. Make sure that obviously the car still works properly. Ooh. Make sure that everything is as it should be. It is bright today. It is bright. And I have too many cars as well, guys. Way too many cars. us any better. Oh, no power steering in these cars from the 80s. Toyota had power steering in the 1980s and the 1990s. Come on, Ford, what were you doing? I feel like the MFI unit, because it's got the big MFI flap, I feel like it may muffle any kind of like turbo flutter. And I'll explain to you what turbo flutter is as well, because some people don't know what it is and they think it's just like dose, you know, like kind of excess boost coming out. But in actual fact, the turbo flutter is when the turbocharger's spinning at like, you know, like thousands and thousands of RPM, and then you take your foot off the gas, the engine revs slow right down, you know, you put your foot on the clutch, the turbocharger stalls because there's no air to keep it going, right? And the stalling, when the air hits the blade stalls, that's the turbo flutter. Can hear a little bit, not a lot. I do think the MFI unit will muffle that for sure. God, I love this car, but it is hot, man. Let's open that sunroof. Yeah, boy. Oh. There we go. How many times do you get to enjoy the sunroof in your Series 2 Escort RS Turbo in January, guys? In January. Kind of shakes a bit though, hey. In my Fiesta RS Turbo, I didn't have like a wind back sunroof. There we go. I just wasn't fully open. That's all right. Yeah, so I can definitely hear more turbo suction, but there's zero turbo flutter, absolutely zero turbo flutter whatsoever. And I think that is probably because of the MFI unit and the fact I'm running stock boost on a 33-year-old actuator and all that kind of stuff as well, guys. Definitely hear some more turbo though. That's cool. It's almost like you can hear it spooling and it's whistling and whistling, and then normally when you let off and you clutch in, there would be the turbo flutter as the turbocharger stalls. But what I'm getting is I'm getting the spooling and I'm hearing the whistling, and then it's just going. It's like that's it. You know, it's like that, and I think that's the MFI unit just closing. I mean, look, I've never had an MFI car, guys, so I'm speculating here. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, watching me. I really appreciate you guys so much. If you like the video, please leave a comment. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. Send it to your mate if you reckon he's gonna like watching me in my Series 2 Escort RS Turbo here in Australia as well. You know, like, guys, I'm just here to have fun. Let me know what you want me to do with the car, what you guys think I should do with the car next. I'm open to all ears, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.